Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. If you are listening live, it is the 3rd of September already at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I also want to welcome you to the show. I want to let you know you can find me over in the chat room. And you can find that by going to 12radio.com. That's number one, number two radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. That's how to find it. You'll see my banner there at the top of the screen and you'll see other people chatting there. So that's a great place to ask a question or just contribute to the conversation. And I do have my eyes on that. You can also watch rather than listen. If you'd like to do that, you can head over to YouTube or Facebook. Just look for Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic and you'll find the live stream and you can watch. And I have my eye on both of those chat rooms as well. So if you, wherever you're commenting, hopefully I should see it so that you can be a part of the conversation. Oh, Lillian said she was on the Facebook site and nothing happened. Huh. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Facebook, man. Oh gosh. Well, welcome. How is everybody? Did you have a here in the States, of course, we had Labor Day weekend. So I hope that you had a good Labor Day weekend, if you partake. Do you not partake? Is there a reason not to? Or I don't know. We went camping and went to one of our favorite places in the world, and it was really nice. We had a different campsite this time. This is an area where, as you can imagine, it's everybody's going. Labor Day weekend is a huge camping weekend here. And so this is a spot that everybody wants to go to. It's on the banks of the Snake River. It's a beautiful spot. So I always try and get our camper pulled up early to save the spot that we want. And because we have a fairly good sized group, so we need enough room for a few campers and lots of vehicles and tents and stuff. So anyway, we pulled up on Wednesday and left our motorhome there. And even then, the spot that we normally like was taken. But I found a different one that I think maybe has become the new favorite. It was beautiful. Beautiful. So anyway, it was good. It was fun. My kids all came home, which was great. So nice to have everybody home and just having a blast. Kara and I, we are always partners in. We have 2 tournaments at every camping trip. It doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if you're sick. We're doing this. And we it is cornhole and what you might be known as ladder ball. In our family, we call it testy toss, but you can call it whatever you want. So we took second place in cornhole, which really sucked because there's trophies now. There's a traveling trophy for the winners, so you just stick it in your camper, and at the next camping trip, you may be giving it back if you lose. But so we lost. But Kara and I have been partners for 2 years in all of these things, and we are Team Thunder Cunt. So yeah, sorry if that insults your sensibilities. But that's us apparently. Anyway, yeah, we lost. And we did so bad at ladder ball. We actually got beat out like it's a double elimination and we got beat out in 2. We suck. So it's weird. I was like, I used to think I was good at ladder ball. What happened? But it's okay. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. Now we just have, new champions to unseat. Matea and Justin. And they're out. I'm telling you, I'm going to practice. I'm going to practice this time. I probably won't. But that's what's up around here. And it was, yeah, we had a great weekend. So nice to be back home. The dogs really love to go camping and then they really love to come home. Especially, you just can't let them run. They're too little and there's too many cars. And so when we're camping, they have to be on leashes all the time. And at home, we have a big fenced backyard and a doggy door, so they come and go as they please and don't ever have to be leashed. So I think camping would be a lot more fun for them if they could just run, but that's never going to happen because they're tiny babies in the woods and their mama's not doing that. But anyway, uh, It's okay. So, they had fun, but they were glad to come home too. Yeah. So I hope that you all are well. I'm so excited that it's September. I mean, to be honest, I started Halloween decorating more than a month ago. But now, this week, I'm hoping to get all of our stuff out and be completely done because it's really, really officially, no one can argue now. It is spooky season. Not gonna lie, this is a pumpkin spice latte of my own making. I usually make my own. Look at that in the cup. It's kind of gross, but it's delicious. So I'm glad. It's good. Uh, I wanted Lillian said it is not spooky season. Miss ma'am. Miss ma'am. It is September now. We can embrace it. We are only 18 days away from this fall equinox. 18 days. It's almost here. So I decided to kick us off with we're going to talk about some spells and rituals because we're all witches in the fall. So some spells and rituals to celebrate the fall. I realize that so often I give you tips and stuff that are for what's happening right now, which might not give you any chance to plan to do some things that you want to do. So I'm trying to do better at that and give you advanced warning on things that I think you might be interested in doing. Thank you, Sid. It's a pioneer woman. You know how I love her. I love almost everything she puts out, truly. I even saw her, she had like a Stanley type cup that I saw in Walmart the other day that I just almost bought, which is absolutely insane. I have so many of those things and I also make them. So why would I buy someone else's? It was really pretty. Really pretty. It's all right. It's okay. You want her life, right? I don't. She lives in Oklahoma. I don't think I could live in Oklahoma. I want things about her life. Hmm. I want that big farmhouse that she cooks out of. My God, that kitchen is something. Yeah, many things about her life for sure. Well, should we dive into Luminous? I'm going to share a link in both of the chat rooms with you because we're getting a little bit magical today. I know a lot of you guys have been working on making some changes in your life, manifesting a few things, changing a few things. And I think sometimes it's really nice to think about some new perspectives or ways you can do that. I also feel like many of us, I know this is me, but oh, she wants to be the Virginia pioneer woman. There you go. There you go. I'd like to be the Montana pioneer woman. Was that? Yeah, yeah. But I'm going to want that ranch. Just did Montana with all the ranch hands because I'm not doing that. Maybe she just needs to start like a franchise of wannabe pioneer women across the country. I don't want the whole ranch. I want like 5 acres in the house. And I want them to be in a place where you can be naked in your yard and nobody would be the wiser. Not that I even want to do that. I just, I don't want close neighbors. Okay, I digress. Let's dig into the magazine. So, all new art as we start dipping into fall. So, I did call the magazine this week The Magic Begins because it does. Here we are. And that's really what I want to talk about this month. Well, thank you, Lillian. She said, I don't know anyone more than you who deserves and needs a ranch, right? I just want, there's a girl on TikTok that she's in Canada. She has a little farm. It's called Useless Farm because she just feeds them. But or she has the craziest collection of critters that she just loves and adores and has, by social media made an entire career out of uh, what she does with these animals, and she makes the funniest videos. However, she has an emu named Karen who has literally tried to kill her multiple times. I would be getting rid of Miss Karen because I'm not doing that. Also, I would never have an emu or an ostrich because I'm scared to death of them. But there is nothing in those eyes, you know? And those murder beaks are at eye level. They're quite a bit taller than me. Yeah, it's a hard no to those giant birds. The hardest of no's. But she has two, and she has Stanley, who is like a doll, and he adores her and is so sweet. She always dresses him up, and he's so freaking cute. But dear God, Karen is terrifying. Terrifying. Like she's put her in the hospital before. I wouldn't do that. So I guess more power to her, but no. But yeah, some kind of like useless farm for me, definitely yes. The pygmy everything, right? I'd have a whole pygmy farm. Everything is tiny. Pamela says, move it to coastal Maine and I'm in. Well, okay. You're a part of the franchise. I love it. We're going to figure this out. All right. Well, let's take a look because what I really wanted to talk about today mostly was in my musings. So, like I said, in the fall, we are all a witch. So I have several spells or enchantments, ideas for you to put a little magic in the fall. And again, I'm bringing this now, even though we're just really hitting the season in stride, just because it'll give you some things to think about. I can't wait to share with you one thing I'm making this year. I have three fall fairs coming. And one thing I'm making, I saw someone else do this and I thought it was so damn cute. Rather than terrariums, they made cemeteriums. And so they're little terrariums that have some plants, mostly moss and maybe a couple of succulents, and little tiny like sepulchres and headstones and gates and paths and oh my god, adorable. So of course I've been leaning heavily on Scott to print me a bunch of things, and I've been gathering some glassware together so that I can make a few of them to take to fairs, and I'm making ones for myself as well. But oh, you guys, they are darling, just darling. That is all. All right, let's start with the harvest gratitude spell. It is harvest. Around here, the grain is getting cut right and left. And that makes our air quality kind of interesting. Uh, we get almost smog. It's our air gets heavy, and there's a lot of fires right now too. But our air gets heavy. It's hard on the asthma sufferers around here and allergy people and stuff. But the chaff from grain hangs in the air for quite a while and travels fairly far. So it is in full grain season now. We're even seeing some potatoes being dug, not like the big russets, like the big baker potatoes. Those won't come until October, but red potatoes, fingerling potatoes, stuff like that are all coming out of the ground now. Um, hemp has become it is a growing business here in my area, which is really wild because just a few years ago it was still illegal to grow hemp in Idaho. Not cannabis, just hemp. And now suddenly it was legalized a couple of years ago, and somebody built a hemp processing facility here in my community. And suddenly we're seeing all these hemp plants. Scott and I had to go and scout out some fields and check them out. It's very cool stuff. Hemp is an amazing product. So that's kind of fun to see a new agricultural industry kind of opening up here. I mean, we've always been the potato people. Are we now going to be potato and hemp people? I don't know. Hey, Sherry. Oh, Liliane, you should totally make one of those for yep, I know who you're talking about. Yep. You should. He would love that, I would bet. Okay. Let's let's start. So a harvest gratitude spell. Because it's harvest, because this is a time of abundance and Thanksgiving, it's a time for spells centered on gratitude. And I've talked about this a lot, but in my mind's eye, if you want to manifest, if you want to create more abundance in your life, the best way to do that is to express a lot of gratitude. When you have gratitude, you're telling the universe this or something more, right? So, gratitude is a really important part of that. Gratitude in life will really get you far as well. People remember that. They remember when you're gracious. They remember when you send them a note or drop a line or, are just particularly gracious in a store. Sincerely, of course, but gratitude, it fills people up and it creates connections. So, what you need for the harvest gratitude spell, you need a small bowl of seasonal fruits or vegetables. And we're getting into apple season as well, depending on where you live. A candle in a warm color like orange, red, or gold, a piece of paper, and a pen. So, to cast, start by lighting your candle, symbolizing the warmth and light of the harvest season. Sit with your candle and reflect on the things that you're grateful for. You can write them down on that piece of paper. And then put the paper under the bowl of fruits and veggies, visualizing your gratitude multiplying and spreading throughout your life. Say a simple affirmation like, I am thankful for the abundance in my life, and I welcome more blessings with an open heart. This is a really powerful affirmation to use anytime. I am thankful for the abundance in my life, and I welcome more blessings with an open heart. Let that candle burn for a few minutes. If it's a chime candle, go ahead and just let it burn all the way down. And then keep that bowl of produce in your home as a symbol of ongoing gratitude and use it up. Don't let it go bad. Okay, autumn protection charm. This is a good one too, especially if you're not a creature of the night and the days are starting to get a little shorter, a little, and the nights are getting a little longer. It is pumpkin spice season, JR. I'm with you 100%. All right. So this is the intention of this charm is to just put a protective barrier around your home. So you need a handful of dried herbs. You can use rosemary, sage, thyme, any or all of those together is fine. If you want to add something else to it, if you want to add a little lavender for peace, you sure could. If you want to add a little rose to invite love in, you could do that. A small cloth pouch. If you don't have a little pouch, just you could put this stuff in a washcloth. You could just put it in a little corner of fabric that you cut off of something else. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could even just, be a square. It could be a bandana. It could be anything that you can put your stuff in. And then a black or a white ribbon. So to do the casting on a good, nice day, gather up your stuff, put them in the cloth pouch. As you fill the pouch, visualize the herbs forming a protective shield around your home and your loved ones. Remember in plant magic that as you talk to the herbs, you talk to the spirit of the plant and tell it what you want it to do. That's how plant magic works. That's how they go to work. And then tie the pouch closed with your ribbon, securing your intention. So the ribbon is using a ribbon or a string or a tie is that's an interesting thing in magic. Like sometimes you do like a half hitch or something like that, so it's not tied completely shut. In this magic, you would tie it all the way shut. So you can tie it shut with the ribbon, double knot it, whatever, to secure your intention within. And then you're going to hang that charm above your front door or inside your house. If hanging something outside isn't really applicable to you, hang it inside in some kind of a central area of your house and just let it serve as a reminder of that protection of that plant magic going to work. So again, you could use anything you want as far as fabric is concerned. It doesn't matter. And you do want to wrap that ribbon around it a couple of times and tie it all the way shut. But don't forget to tell the plant spirits as you're making this what you want them to do. You're asking for a protective barrier around your home. your property, your pets, your loved ones? Hey, Quelly, that's up to you. Okay, the falling leaves release ritual. And I know plenty of you, and me included, probably need to do some releasing work this fall. So, fall is a season of letting go. And I really love this that you could use those leaves that the trees are shedding to help shed some of your leaves too. So, take a collection of fallen leaves. And I don't know where you guys are at. Where I'm at, we don't have leaves really coming down much yet. So, this is definitely probably in a month process, but that's okay. Take a marker and a safe place to burn paper. So you could have a fireproof dish or an outdoor fire pit, but somewhere that you could burn a little something. So find a quiet place outdoors where you can focus without distractions and do your work. Take your leaves and gently write on them something you want to release from your life. This could be so many things. I mean, obviously, it could be something physical, like a relationship, a bad friendship, a, a job, something that you just really want to be done with. It could also be a habit. It could be worries. It could be guilt. It could be just old energy that you want to be done with. That's up to you to decide. What is it that you want to be done with? What do you need to release? It could be a situation, you know. You know how sometimes you have let's say an altercation, probably not a physical one, but an altercation with someone. You have a road rage thing, or somebody's ugly with you in a store or at your work or whatnot. The way sometimes that really sticks to you like glue and you have a hard time shaking it, and it's all you can think about and you just can't move past it. This is a great way to get rid of some of that stuff. So once you've written down your thoughts on your leaves, take them in your hands and visualize them just absorbing that energy from you, letting it go, and then burn them one by one. Sherry knows exactly what she's writing on her leaves. So write it on your leaves, burn the leaves. As they burn, the incantation is, as these leaves turn to ash, I release what no longer serves me. As these leaves turn to ash, I release what no longer serves me. And then let yourself be lighter and at peace. One challenge with clearing work is that a big part of your ego's job is to keep you safe, right? Your ego is in your left brain. Your ego wants to keep you safe. Your ego wants to keep you reminded of things that burned you once that doesn't want to see you get burned again. The challenge with that is sometimes your ego goes into overdrive and goes, yeah, but do you remember in third grade when, right? The ego wants to bring up old shit over and over and over that your spirit really just needs to be done with. So when that happens for you, right? When that happens for you, you have to tell your ego it's okay. Sometimes it's about having a conversation with your ego and saying, listen, yes, I know that once upon a time, this thing happened that hurt me. And I know that you're trying to keep me safe. And I also know that I need to stop worrying about it and thinking about it and feeling it and hurting from it. So, what I would like you to do is stop bringing it up. Stop bringing it up. It's just a conversation with yourself, right? But in clearing work, too often we reach back out and we grab that thing we just cleared and we yank it back to ourselves because our ego doesn't want to let it go yet because it wants to keep you safe. Which, if you're 3 years old and you're told not to touch the stove because it's hot, and you do touch the stove, or maybe 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, a 3-year-old might not hold on to it. But at some point, your brain starts going, don't touch the stove, it's hot, because your ego remembers when you had a burn and how bad it hurt. So your ego doesn't want you to forget that if you touch the stove, it's hot. So every time you walk past the stove, the ego tells you, don't touch the stove, it's hot. But not every stove is hot. Not every stove is even turned on, right? The situation isn't always the same. So working with yourself and reminding your ego that you're safe and not allowing yourself to reach back out and grab your traumas and pull them back to you hard, that's hard. It is hard. But that's clearing is a lot more successful if you decide to stop entertaining that. Okay. The pumpkin prosperity spell. Who doesn't need more prosperity? I mean, everyone does. And let's be real. Everything, everything is available to you. There is an infinite supply of abundance on this planet. Now, is it true that a few hold the most? Yeah, it is. But there is an infinite supply of love. There's an infinite supply of wisdom. There is an infinite supply of abundance. We can all win. Community above competition, right? We were raised in a world where we had to compete. Women, particularly, we were raised in a world where we have to compete, where somebody has to win, where somebody has to get smashed to the earth. That is the kind of community, or that is the kind of energy that we were typically raised in. And it's hard to get past that when you have always been in a, raised in a society where you have to compete. Here's the truth. The energy of competition is very damaging. It's not good for you. It's not good for me. Occasionally we have to compete. Hopefully, if you're competing, it's in a sport and it's for fun. But competing on a general basis, competing with your neighbor, competing with other women, whether it's conscious or subconscious, it's not good for you. What it does is it slows you down. It gets in the way of your own abundance. It absolutely gets in the way of you being able to empower yourself to have and do more of what you want. So choose community over competition. Choose to elevate everyone. We can all win. We can all have what we need and want. I promise. So here's the pumpkin prosperity spell. Take a small pumpkin. It doesn't have to be a biggie. You could buy a little guy. You could even buy just like a little plastic one if you wanted to, so it doesn't go bad throughout the course of the season. But for me, I think I'll do a real one. But even just like a little, like a small gourd or like pie pumpkin would be fine for this. So take a pumpkin and a coin. Could be a quarter, could be a silver dollar if you want to, something fancy, whatever. Hell, it could be a casino chip. I don't care. Whatever you want to use. So carve a small hole in the top of the pumpkin. You're actually just carving out a slot. That's it. And then sit with the candle and light the candle and focus on your intention for prosperity. You could focus specifically on things that you want, or you can just leave that door wide open for prosperity and abundance in all ways. You can do some envisioning of success and prosperity and what that looks like for you. Hold the coin in your hand. You can hold it up into your heart. You can hold it up to your mouth and whisper or speak into it. But really infuse it with your intentions and then slip it inside that slot. Put it right inside the pumpkin. As you do it, say, as this pumpkin grows, so does my prosperity. Now, the pumpkin is off the vine. It's not going to literally physically grow, but the energy of the growth is going to be in your world. Place the pumpkin somewhere in your home where you can see it, like the kitchen counter, a mantle, your altar, your front porch if you'd rather. That's fine too. And just allow you to continue to see that, to remember what you did, what your spell is, and continue to keep thinking through it. I love that one. That is so easy. So look for some things, look for some ways. This is a good time to start looking around to see if anybody's doing any kind of a fall equinox fire or ceremony or ritual in your neighborhood, in your area, a drumming, anything like that. Even if you did something like that online, it would be a powerful thing to do this fall. But we're starting to plan now so that you're not taken by surprise later. Okay. In Kelly's Refeminist History, you guys, for this article, Kelly is such a damn good researcher. So this article is called Sluts of the World Unite, Unraveling the Reputations of History's Most Villainized Women. I love it. I loved this article so much. And so she started, and she was obsessed, she said, after the Marie Antoinette story last week. So she started looking at so many other women that have been villainized in history. And she put together a fabulous article about that. And so I hope that you guys take a minute and you read it and you think about other women in history, in religious history, in ancient history that have been demonized, and think about why. Why? We're terrifying, guys. Women, our energy scares the hell out of the world. That's good. It should. But unfortunately, because of that, we've been put under the heel of men for an incredibly long time and under the basic institutions around us for a very long time. And we've really been breaking through those ceilings, really been breaking through those ceilings. I would say for the last 50 years. I mean, yeah, right now it's a little bit scary because it seems like there are those that would like to push us backwards, but many who don't. And we're not going to do that. We're not going back to a time when women couldn't have their own damn credit card or own property or vote. We're not doing that. But in the meantime, I think really celebrating women, powerful women for their power and getting a better look at their history because we tend to, the press does this, and our human minds, our brains do this. You you have to categorize people. You have to be able to put them in a box. And so when you're introduced to the idea of any person, the first thing your brain wants to do is put them in a category. And you usually start with bad or good, right? That's pretty simplistic, but is this a person that I think is good or a person that I think is bad? And then from there, a box beyond that. So when all you've been taught about someone, even if it was, not a lot of teaching, but just maybe a sentence or a phrase or, something simple, your brain will immediately put them in the good or bad box. And then from there, start sorting them into other boxes too that make sense to you. So if all you ever heard about someone is something bad, they might immediately go in your bad box and stay there. The other challenging part of that is that as we grow up and as we mature and as we have life experiences, what used to be considered good or bad may not be the same anymore, right? So if I think Lilith is a great example of that because Lilith was, of course, demonized as being evil and bad. But the more you learn about Lilith, you might decide, no, Lilith is definitely none of those things. I think about a lot of different women in history. But at any rate, you can read. I won't go on about that for hours, but you can read Kelly's article and just think about other women that have received that in our current history as well. Sure, it doesn't have to be ancient history; it's still happening. And I guess the challenge for all of us in that on that front is that when that comes up in the press for you with any woman, that you choose to dig deeper before you put them in any box at all. My tip this week is to harvest apples. It might not be apple season where you live yet, and it may be depending on the variety. My trees were mostly dormant this year, so I don't think we're gonna get a whole lot. I'm gonna have to go buy some, but that's okay. That's fine. But because we are hitting apple season, so don't forget when you are gathering apples, if you're cooking them, cutting them, chopping them, peeling them, just picking them, sitting them in a basket on the table to look pretty and forget to ever eat, whatever you do with them. They do represent immortality, beauty, youth, and protection. And then, of course, from a health front, apples are packed with fiber and antioxidants. They're good for blood sugar regulation. They're really, really good for your gut. So, you know, that old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I'm sure it's not true for everybody, but yeah, it doesn't hurt you. Especially if you have a hard time getting fruit in. I think apples are a pretty good one. You can, quarter them up and dip them in peanut butter. You can cook them. There's a lot of things. You can sauce them. There's a lot of things you can do with an apple. Christy's energy exercise for the week is her Gaia grounding. Lots of crime, of course, over at True Crime Squad. That never goes away. Jamie Dawn has a brand new video, New Moon in Virgo up and coming, avoiding burnout. I think that's something we all have to examine every once in a while. And if you are feeling burned out, examining what you want to do about that. And I thought she had made some really, really good points. Lots of meditations, of course, over at Planet Meditation. And there you go. That is Luminous this week. So, as always, thank you to my contributors and thanks you guys for supporting Luminous. We've been going for a hot minute now. Okay. Sid said, could you please check Mr. Darcy Pup's long back? Is the preventative muscle work I do helping, or should I schedule a vet ASAP? I've avoided rushing him with vet scary stuff, i.e., would he be okay with going to a DIY dog wash? Okay, let's take a look at all of those things with Mr. Darcy. A vet is called for, not an emergency, but a vet is called for to just check that back out. I think that it is making a difference. He has sure settled in a lot since he's come to your house. And I think he'd handle the dog wash better than you think, actually. So I say yes to both, actually. Yeah. He's doing good, though. JR said, now I'm craving caramel apples, right? Okay. So we're trying something. I know, big surprise. But we have 3 fairs coming up, and I'm kind of burned out creatively. You know how creativity comes in ebbs and flows, and I've been in an ebb for a minute. And so Scott and I were talking about like we don't have a lot of inventory to take to fairs this fall, so it's time to get on the horse. I've just been having a hard time. So, and that's okay. Sometimes I probably need to do a little magic work for myself on that front, but this is how creativity does for me. I'm either on fire or both feet are nailed to the floor. And right now, both feet are nailed firmly to the floor. So I'm going to get my pry bar out this week and I'm going to figure it out. It'll be fine. But anyway, Scott found something that we think looks really fun. So we're going to try it. But people are making candy apples. So not caramel apples, but candy apples and putting the apple once you dip it in the candy into a mold so that when it hardens, it comes out. It looks like various things. The example that we saw was roses. So you use silicone rose molds and you stick your apple on a stick down in the rose mold with the candy and it looks like a rose apple and they're very cool. But we were like, how could you like Halloween that up? So we bought a skull mold that just got here and we're going to try it and see if we can make candy apple skulls and see how they turn out. So I will share with you once we've made some and, see if that's going to work or if we're just dreaming. I think roses would be cool too, and I have a rose mold, so we'll try those too, but anyway, we'll see. That sounds like fun. I'm just hitching my wagon to somebody else's creative idea. I got nothing. I actually do. I've got some things. The thing I'm dreaming of is making these dragon skulls. And if I can pull them off, they're going to be spectacular. We'll see. I have some ideas. I'm going to try to combine 3D printing with glass work, with clay work. Uh, it'll definitely be a collab with Scott because some of it is stuff I can't do, but he can. So we'll see. Okay. Lillian said, if you have a minute, would you take a look at my old friendship with Dale? Is our friendship over? Oh, let's take a look. Essentially, it is. I think you may still have some communication here and there, but it feels a little tepid. I would say for the main part, it is Lillian. He just feels to me like he's gone a pretty different direction than you, and it's not peaceful. And honestly, I feel like the older he gets, the more opinionated, grumpy, not that fun he gets. And maybe that's just not good for you anymore. So again, I feel like over, no, but tepid, yeah. Said 2 months with Mr. Darcy. I don't think so. I think I'm thinking of Dale. Oh, Dale, your female friend Dale. Maybe I am thinking of George. Let me look back at, yes, you're probably right. Let's go back to Dale. No, you're not done with Dale. You're not done with Dale. I, however, tepid still comes up for me, but you're still going to be somewhat. Yeah, George is over. Yeah, uh, it still applies. Actually, I'm thinking of the uh, wrong gender, right person. Yeah, tepid. I mean, I think you guys will still be friends. I just think there's certain things you just can't really talk about anymore, and yeah, yeah. We'll see how things go with her, but tepid, yes. Oh, Micron, yes, I'm so sorry, but your penis is too small. Yeah, it's too bad, that you have to come in people's shows and troll them to find that out. I would think that microscope on your nightstand would answer the whole question, but that's all right. I'll let you go. Okay, hold on. Getting rid of the troll. Okay, I blocked them. Should I just let their comments stay? Let's do that. Let's do that. We'll let your shame remain. Yeah. Is that why she left you? Well, sure. Yeah. Nobody's down for the micro penis club anymore. Sorry, bud. Okay. Well, who wants to waste too much time on that? Good Lord. Okay, moving on. Yeah, jack-o'-lanterns is a great idea. JR said she's been sick off and on for the entire summer with no relief. Anything I need to look into as I've been so sick? Yeah, JR, it's your immune response. If your insurance would let you, I would really consider seeing an immunologist to just take a hard look at your immune system and why your body always wants to get sick. And if there's anything you can do, the immune system's tough, but if your body's attacking itself, in the form of like a autoimmune disorder, or if you are lacking somewhere in your immune system, it would be good to know. But this is about your immune response. Okay. Sherry said, "Do you think we're moving to the third floor or fifth floor at work? Do you think we move this month in September? Will it help the work environment?" I think you're going fifth floor, actually, Sherry. It looks to me like you're going big. And yes, it will help the work environment. Uh, September, if it's September, it's really to the end of the month. It's not going to be super soon. But yeah, actually, I think it shakes up the environment quite a bit, shakes up the all of it, just the whole temperature of the office, and really kind of shakes up the old guard, I think, and just brings in a better energy. So, yes, yes, yes. Like, if you're going to troll somebody, I mean, it's fine. And we get trolls. I get them here. We get them over at True Crime Squad too. We had a troll the other day that asked if we speak a foreign language and what would we think of if he said Haagen-Dazs, to make sure we know we're fat. I had no idea. I did not know when I woke up this morning, when I looked in the mirror, when I put on my clothing. It's funny how men think that they need to make sure that women know they're fat. You know what's funny about that? Usually they're fat. But it's the lowest hanging fruit to insult somebody by pointing out something very obvious about them, isn't it? But anyway, I gotta say, I don't think you're a next level troll if you're coming into a chat room to open up an opportunity for the host to ridicule you on live radio. So that's cool. It's whatever. You got to work on your game, bro. It's not good. It's not good. That's okay though. Stay bad. Stay bad. Maybe don't even do it anymore. Right. They're just twits. They're just jerks. I will say honestly, the only time I've ever been trolled that it wasn't a man, it's always men. The only time I was ever trolled like that it wasn't a man, it was the girlfriend of a serial killer that was upset with Christy and I for things that we had said about her fiance. But other than that, it's always men. Do you guys follow Sarah Hester Ross? She's on TikTok, but I think she's also on Instagram and probably other platforms. She has a recurring show in Vegas. She lives in Vegas, and she is so funny. She's a singer and a comedian, but I will never be able to do it like her, and I'm going to apologize in advance for singing to you. Scott's going to die 1,000 deaths in the other room, but this is just a line from one of her songs. Stop giving men microphones. No one cares what you think in your basement alone. Is that so funny? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, the girlfriend of a serial killer. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was trolling us pretty hard. She was really mad at us. The serial killer is Bass Webb. I think he's from Kentucky. Anyway, he's real bad and in prison forever where he belongs. And since he's been in prison, he's had some pretty good missteps, like spitting in a judge's face, and it's not good. The swastika tattooed on the side of his face is, well, it tells you a lot. But anyway, uh, yeah, this girl was all in Bass Webb. We did an episode about Bass Webb that we said Bass Webb is a monster. That was the headline. Oh my God, she was so mad. She was so incensed. She sent us multiple emails telling us what liars we are, which is crazy because when we publish a story, it means that we have at least three good sources that aren't just regurgitating the same information, but three different sources. And in Bass Webb's case, like there's been documentaries done on him. Like there's so much information about Bass Webb. Like we weren't, and also a lot of the information that we brought came directly from court documents. But anyway, yeah, she did not like what we said about him. So she trolled us pretty hard on our show till we finally had to block her. We didn't block her for a while because we were like, it's okay. You don't have to like us, and you don't have to like what we said. Um, Like, why are you dating a serial killer in prison forever? But whatever, that's fine. You do you. That happens all the time, but that's okay. That's real hard to understand, but it is what it is. But at any rate, then she started coming into our lives and insulting us, and we finally had to block her. And so then she chased us over to TikTok and started coming after us on TikTok for a while. And I was watching her TikToks because I was a little curious about who the hell is this lady? Like, why is she like this? Looks to me like she ended up in prison too. So we haven't heard from her in a few years, and I'm guessing we won't because I think she's probably also behind bars. And that's probably good. That might be where she belongs. Okay. One second. Back to the other chat room. Okay, Tara. I love it. Tara said, for the leaf burning spell that we talked about earlier, as these leaves turn to ash, I release this weight from my ass. I'm going to do that too. Yep, I'm going to do that too. She is a bard, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, so funny. I like it. That's good. Sid said, I had no idea majority of online troll nastiness is male oriented. They must be bored with porn and need to get some some hobbies other than computer oriented ones. I mean, it wouldn't kill them. Yeah. I mean, have you ever thought about pickleball or I don't know, painting, taxiderm? No, no, that's not for you. Uh, I don't know. It is. It's crazy. Well, there's that is too normal, right? It's too normal. Maybe frisbee golf? I don't know. Unfortunately, a lot of them made their hobby idolizing people that didn't deserve that from them. Now they all need to find new hobbies, and I think it's falling hard. I I don't know. There's if you guys know the Brian Koberger case, but Brian Koberger, this has been a really national case, but it happened here in Idaho, up in northern Idaho a couple of years ago. He murdered 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho, at the University of Idaho. And that's still very slowly eking its way towards trial. And Brian Koberger, I mean, it wasn't long after he got arrested. And this is a goofy ass looking guy, like weird dude with a very weird past. And he is certainly innocent until proven guilty. But man, the evidence it's rough. Immediately, women popped up on the internet posting videos about how he was their soulmate, about how they were going to marry him someday, about no matter what happens or what he did, it doesn't matter. These are women that had never even met him. Yeah, it's crazy. And according to the jail up there, he's getting quite a bit of fan mail from women. What are you doing? It is insanity. Yeah, I know. I told my listeners recently, Chad Daybell's getting letters like that. And they were like, no. Yes, he is. You bet he is. I don't get it at all. But my aunt reminded me not too long ago that my grandma was one of those women and that she drove clear to Oregon to pick someone up that she'd been writing to for years and bring him home with her after he got out of prison, and that he lived with her for a few months. And that my mom, I was pretty little. I kind of remember this, but I don't fully remember it. And that my mom said, until that man isn't living here, we aren't coming over here anymore because I'm not exposing my kids to this person. You don't know anything about him. We don't know anything about him. Now, his crimes were drug crimes. He wasn't necessarily a violent criminal. He didn't have sex offenses, but still, like what? So yeah, there was no There was no going to Granny's for a few months until she bounced the felon. But I had forgotten about that. You guys, my grandma was one of a kind. Oh, let's see. Oh, Rebecca needs a birthday message. Yeah, let's pull you a couple of cards. Okay. All right. So just looking at the next, probably not the whole 12 months, but we'll look at the next 6 months. How's that? That seems kind of broad for the amount of time I have, a couple of minutes here. Okay, Rebecca. The first card is victory and success. Awesome. So that tells me here the next few months, I think you can expect things to be pretty pretty stable and solid, and that you should really reach out for that success. I think when you have offers of help, when you have offers of potentially, moving up in your job or making a change, that you really seriously consider that, because success seems to be yours right now in this cycle. So we'll take it. Even if it creates some change, it's worth considering, because I know sometimes destabilizing your life is, kind of a scary prospect, but seriously consider it. All right. Moving into the winter months, the heart chakra card. This could be a relationship incoming. This could be some healing of your heart. I feel like there's some relief to grief over this period for you. A shift that kind of releases some of the hard stuff you've been carrying for a while in this life, or even from past lives, that gives you some relief on that. So that feels really positive. And then moving into maybe early spring, new beginnings. It does seem to me like there's change on the horizon for you, but it feels really positive. So again, I think, say yes to things that feel good. Don't say no too quickly. Really consider opportunities before you change them, or before you chase them away, even if it does bring some change in. So first 6 months looks very positive, with some positive change incoming. We'll take it. Absolutely. And happy birthday, my friend. All righty, you guys. Oh, Sid said about your grandma, that is sad and surprising. Any insight as to what would promote her to idolize a convict? My grandma loved men. She loved men. And I don't even mean in like a sexual way, though she probably did that too, but she loved men. She would choose men over women in any capacity. Her dad was horrifically abusive. And so I think positive energy or positive attention from men was probably really hypnotic for her. But I mean, we used to laugh all the time that she would take, and by picking sides, I mean really jokingly, because, it's us. But she would always take Scott's side or my dad's side. She adored Scott. My God. I could visit her 12 times and, she would be somewhat friendly. I show up with Scott and she would put on the Ritz. It's just how she was. It doesn't surprise me all that much, actually. But at any rate, I've got to go. Please don't forget that I am a professional psychic advisor over at 12listen.com. You can find me over there every day doing readings and healings and everything in between. I can do some animal I can't do it because I can't say it. I can do animal communication, mediumship, mentoring, whatever you need. I'm happy to help you out. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for being here. I should be here next week. No problemo. So I'll see you then. This has been yet another production of the Katie Weaver Show here on 12 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.